Hi there, Miranda Alt here with Keller Williams Success Real Estate and the Miranda Alt team with your Monday market update for Monday, July 8th, 2024. Thanks so much for watching. My voice is a little strained today and I'm a little tired. It has been a long 5 days celebrating the 4th of July. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Yesterday was our big client appreciation party at my childhood home on Crystal Lake for the fireworks. The fireworks had a bit of a trouble yesterday, but it was still a great party. So thank you to everyone who came out to celebrate with us. Let's take a quick look at your McHenry County numbers for the last 7 days and talk about real estate and what is happening in our market. We had 123 new listings, only 108 under contract. That is the last 2 weeks that we have had less homes go under contract than we've had newly listed. So it would appear that we're getting some headway in the inventory department, but we're not, and I'll explain that in just one moment. We had 72 closed sales. We had 41 price changes, and we currently have 54 on the private network. So I'll tell you a little bit about what's happening in our housing market. For the last 2 weeks, since June 23rd, due to the 4th of July holiday, we have seen a decline in the number of showings. If you look at the showing report, showing time, which is our system for tracking showings, and they've been tracking everything since COVID. So we have numbers from 2020 all the way through today, and we can see the trends of when people are out looking at homes. And this is all due to appointments that are scheduled through showing time. And so what we can see is that the busiest time for showings is actually in April, which is not surprising, April and May. And then we see a slight decline in June. And pretty much what happens, just what I know from talking to people, is that, over the summer, as you probably know, people get very busy. And so, maybe they put their search on hold. And so maybe people who weren't as serious, and also people get homes under contract. So there's less buyers looking at June, July, August. Our peak is obviously in April and May. And then we see another peak around July 11th. So we should see showings start to pick up over the next week, but we did see a little bit of a hiatus, and it was a pretty big decline these last 2 weeks in the number of showings, primarily due to people traveling for the holiday. And so now we'll see a little bit of a spike after the 4th of July. So July 11th, we'll see a peak. And then we'll see it's a very, very slight decline that we'll start to see as the trend that continues until the end of the year. So obviously our peak is in the spring, and we're heading to a slightly less busy, but that does not mean that our real estate market goes on vacation for the next 6 months. It's just that we see this sort of slight decline trend that continues all the way through the end of the year. But we will see a peak coming up to July 11th. Some other things happening. I read an interesting report from Market Watch, is one of the sources that I look at for trends in the real estate market nationwide. And it's so interesting because one of the things that I have been talking about, and I haven't found any articles on it with statistics about population growth versus how many homes are being built. So this was very interesting when I read this morning. So this is actually a great time to buy. And why? Because so many people out there think that this would be a terrible time to buy a home with low supply and higher interest rates than we've experienced for the last 10 years. Now, keep in mind, mortgage rates are actually historically average. They're actually below average. Historical average is 8%. They're currently at about 7%. And they've been at 7% for pretty much this whole year. We've seen a little bit of a fluctuation, but not a whole lot. They're really holding steady at around that 7% interest mark. So, why would now be a great time to buy? And let me tell you, here's why. And I've been saying this all along, that you're better off getting a home under contract now than waiting. And I said this last year, and prices have done nothing but go up, and interest rates have gone up, so it's gotten more expensive. So last year I was urging everyone, please, if you're looking to buy a house, don't wait. Get something under contract now before prices keep going up. And this has been the case. Okay, so now the FHFA just reported a rise of almost 7% in the first quarter of 2024 for home prices. So prices are continuing to accelerate at about 7% appreciation. Historical average for appreciation is 4%. Now remember, we had a decrease in prices during the Great Recession, so we're not as inflated in prices as some people might think. We have recovered, and yes, we're slightly higher than the historical average, but we don't see an end in this increase for a very long time. There is no end in sight in this appreciation. So you're better off buying a home now before prices continue to go. And here's why. In 2005, the US was building homes at close to 2 million homes a year, nationwide, 2 million a year. Nation's population was at 296 million. There are 30 million more people now with 1 million fewer homes being built. So we are at a huge deficit for supply and demand, which is the ultimate dictator of price. So we are severely undersupplied in our housing market. So for the last 2 weeks, we have seen less homes go under contract than we've seen newly listed in McHenry County. Now that I only track McHenry County numbers, but in our region, that's pretty much what we're seeing. So different areas of the country are going to be experiencing different things, but nationwide, we are still in a national deficit in terms of number of homes that we need in order to supply these buyers. Now, listen to this. In the decade following 2008, the U.S. built just 500,000 new homes a year. So nowhere near what we needed just for replacement. You've got to realize we do have some homes that have to be torn down or they burn down. I mean, not a lot, but that is a factor where there are homes that just don't exist anymore. So we need a certain number of homes to be built just for sheer replacement. And then you have to think about our population growth and the number of homes being built to meet the needs of our population. Now listen to this. Construction is lagging for a few reasons. One is government red tape, building costs. It's more expensive to build a home. None of that is going to be fixed anytime soon. Pent-up demand is going to take years to rectify. All the while, demand for home ownership is continuing to ramp up. Here's some other statistics. There are 71 million millennials, the largest U.S. adult demographic population, so that we have more millennials than we have any other demographic of adults, all reaching the stages of life that typically drive home ownership. So we've got this huge number of people that are turning 30 or in that age range where they're going to be buying their first home. So we've got an influx of demand, and we know that the dream of home ownership is still alive and well. People want to buy a home. Why? Well, because they don't want to live in their mom and dad's basement forever. And number two, they don't want to rent forever. And they know that no matter what the interest rate is, home ownership and real estate is still a good investment. If you ask someone who bought their home in the 80s, my parents, for example, bought their home on Crystal Lake for $180,000 in 1984 at 16% interest rate. Did they complain about the interest rate? No. Was it great? No. But now their home is worth $1.8 million. Now, that is not going to be a typical appreciation for everyone. Obviously, lakefront property has appreciated more than others. However, if you ask anyone who bought their home in the 80s at a 16% interest rate and ask them if that was a good investment, they will say yes. So even though interest rates are 7%, and I know that's high, and I know that the cost of being a homeowner has gone up in the recent years, what most people have to realize is that it was too cheap for too long. It was just way too inexpensive to own a home for the last 10 years. Now that's great. If you were able to take advantage of that, awesome. I'm in the same boat. I'm not moving anytime soon, but I also don't have a need to move or a desire to move. So those of you that are out there that are waiting and thinking, oh, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for home prices to come down. I'm going to wait for interest rates to come down. I'm going to wait for what? You are better off buying now. Don't wait. Refinance when the interest rates come down. They will eventually. We've got a big week coming up this week. The Fed's, Jerome Powell will do an announcement this week. We also have the CPI readings coming out. We have some inflation indicators coming out. However, the interest rates are not going to come down significantly, number one. And when they do, prices are going to skyrocket because we're going to have everybody jumping off the fence. Everybody that's sitting on the fence is going to get off the fence and get into the housing market. And we are going to see a rise in prices even more than we have seen in previous months. But the interest rate, if you buy a house now, you can refinance when the rates come down. The old adage, which is so stupid, it sounds really dumb, marry the house, date the rate. I hate that, but it is true. You're better off buying the home now and then refinancing once the rates do come down. So this is just, we do have this inventory supply and demand issue that we don't see ending anytime soon. Prices are going to continue to go up. Interest rates might come down a little, but not significantly. They will never be at 2% again. They will probably never be at even 3 or 4. We might see 6%, 6.5%, somewhere in the 6s by the end of this year, maybe. We don't even know. And could it get worse? Yes, it could get worse. It could get worse. If the interest rates come down significantly, which I don't really think they will, but if they were to, I envision even more bidding wars. So right now, we've got about 1 home for every 10 buyers. Statistically, and that's also depending on the price range. Obviously, the higher priced homes, we don't have as many buyers. However, if the interest rates come down, we're going to end up with 20 buyers for every home. It is going to be worse. So if you're thinking about buying, you're thinking about selling, now would be a better time to look at that rather than waiting. If you have any questions about that, please call me. I will be doing another first-time homebuyer seminar soon. I'm not sure when. We don't have that scheduled. I will also be doing another seminar called Next Steps, which is going to talk to those of you that are maybe trying to figure out aging parents, or maybe you're aging yourself and not quite sure where your next step is going to be. We're going to do a seminar talking about what the different options of assisted living look like. And so we'll be doing that coming up this fall. And then we'll also do another investor seminar, because if you've always wanted to own real estate and grow your wealth, now would be a great time to do that too. I know that it's not the deals that you were going to get in 2012, but like I said, prices are going to do nothing but go up. So it's a good time to invest in real estate and grow your wealth and take advantage of those increasing prices over the coming years. I'm Miranda 𝗨𝗃 with the Miranda 𝗨𝗃 team and Keller Williams Success. Thank you so much for watching. Please excuse my voice. Hopefully it will get better by next week. I hope you have a great day. Enjoy this beautiful day. Bye.